Hey everybody, I'm APH and welcome back to Kingdoms Reborn. Now in the last episode, we got you the trade company. It's pretty exciting. We don't have to worry about buying tools anymore. That's actually a really nice feature of the game. We also got into the tech for the Middle Age. We are looking to do a few things in this episode. Mainly, we want to get to medicine in order to transition our farms over from doing medical over to something a little bit more useful. And we would like to get to the tailor for clothes. After that, we'd like to work our way to logistics for the warehouse as well as the market. Now, this kind of opens the opportunity for agricultural revolution, which we'll grab. I think that's a pretty important one to start off with to get the granary, and that's going to go a long way with our fruit production as well as our pork production. That's going to be huge. So let's pick up the ironworking next. That will pretty much get us into tailoring. And with that, we'll take a granary. We won't take an iron smelter, and we're going to place the granary. I'm thinking in this neighborhood right here. So I want it to affect as many farms as possible. Yeah, we'll throw it right there. That looks good. Got 3 immigrants that want to join. We've got a passion book. Absolutely. They're smiling. I'm not sure if they should be smiling quite yet. And we have some stone up in this area that I'd like to get. We entered the spring with not a whole lot of food, and that's a little bit worrisome. So revamping up all of our fruit gatherers in order to make sure that we have enough fruit in order to move forward is kind of important. So we do have a new feature. I like this. It's a card deck, and it was introduced in the upgrade, so the card inventory. So we do have the capability of storing up some of our cards, so the statistics bureau on that mushroom farm can go in there. We'll probably be, until we upgrade our town hall, the beer brewer card is going to go in there. Granted, I'd like to get that sooner than later. For this area, let's get another fruit gatherer right there, and then we'll get another one on this side. And then this territory up here costs either 1,500 of influence or 3,000 gold. We're probably going to hit the influence a lot quicker than we're going to hit the gold, as we're still playing quite a bit of money trying to get all of our tools on hand, but at least we don't have to worry about buying them. So this hunter is up and going. So let's get another fruit gatherer over here, and then we should place a couple of granaries to go with it. So let's get a granary right there. That looks good. And then we'll get a granary up here. This one, I think we're going to have to get rid of this storage, and then we'll place the granary with that. So anytime we have wild cards, they should make it a feature that when you hit the build menu, it automatically brings up any card that you can use. So let's plop that boyo there. That looks good. And that should get us quite a bit of food. I don't think we need to boost all of our herbs because we're going to be getting out of them soon. I mean, we are looking at getting into tailoring and then probably heading towards medicine. Let's extend out this road a little bit because I'd like to get a farm over here for sheep in order to start producing wool. So we'll throw that there. That gets us the next tech. That gets us tailoring. Brickworks would be good because we're going to be using a lot of bricks, but I don't think we're ready for it. And I think we're going to have to trade for that for quite some time. Let's pick up potatoes so we can get distillery beekeeper and then beeline for medicine. We'll pick up the tailor, but we want sheep. So that we're going to place, let's do it right adjacent to our trade company there and get us on a little bit better track. And then I think we don't have any tulips in stock, so I want to get another farm over here in order to push our tulips a little bit bigger. So let's get this switched over. That's looking good. We are going to pick up potatoes in a second here, and that will get us on the route for doing vodka in the future. We'll go ahead and start vodka. We're not going to do it this episode, that's for sure. And we'll throw the potatoes in there. We're all losing people to being homeless, but food is still an issue. We're going into this winter with yet no food. We have a little bit of a crisis, but we will add 2 more houses for next year because I'm hoping with the addition of these granaries that we should be kind of set. This one is up and going, and look at that. Our granaries our fruit gatherers are now up to 210 with just 1 card. That's what we're talking about. So hopefully this is a good year. Speaking of a good year, we did build quite a few extra fruit gatherers. So let's go ahead and add the delicate harvesting and the pest traps. That will give them a little bit further of a boost. And this territory right here, I was hoping we could buy it, and we can. So we'll add a road this way because this is going to be fruit production in the future. We'll pick up those immigrants. We'll pick up the motivation for the future. Maybe not. Maybe we'll stay with passion for a little bit longer. I know at some point in time we'll be selling all those, but for now it will pick it up just for. Let's throw the productivity and the passion into the sheep ranch, that should help it get up and going just a touch faster. Maybe not a whole lot faster, but at least a touch faster. And then we'll do a little bit more. Well, you know what? We should probably let some things build since we've got quite a few build projects, and then we'll look at doing the next bit of fruit because that's going to be the bulk of our food. And speaking of that, let's take a look at the job priority. And the hunter and the forester are up and going. So with that, we probably should start expanding out our labors. And let's go ahead and close that out for a second. We don't want vodka quite yet. We're at 64. So let's bring this up to 15 for the moment. And then we might expand that even further as probably the next year or two. We probably should have this closer to about 20 would be my guess. This area, we did get the road down. So let's get a granary going up here. So we'll throw that. Let's do that right there. And then for fruit, we're just going to go ahead and add it right adjacent. We'll place this one facing that way so that we can get a hunter adjacent to that, something like that. And then we'll place fruit on the other side. We'll start with 2 right now, and then next year we'll add a few more. With this, we've got a lot of non-fruit trees in there. Eventually, we're going to need a forester to kind of make this area come together. Speaking of that, let's gather all of these stones over here. That way this area can start transitioning, and maybe we do gather some of these non-fruit trees. They're getting good. I mean, they're 200% for some of them. So that bonus yield adds up quite a bit. Yeah, 252%. This guy with a forester that has 200% is probably 100 and some wood just from one tree. That is how this mechanic works. It takes the percentage of the hunter and the percentage of the tree, adds it together. And between the two of them, they make this really powerful. Let's go ahead and get all of the non-fruit trees in this area just so fruit trees can start expanding. So for tech, we did unlock the vodka, the distillery. Let's go ahead and pick up the beekeeper, which pretty much instantly finished, and that should get us for medical. Candles would take 30 houses, and that would be a valid thing. That would be easy to do, and we might take a look at that within the next year or two. Bees, no thank you at the moment. And this sheep is getting up and going. I mean, we're 9 of 15, so it's going to be another year before it's fully operational. We probably need at least 1 more sheep in order to make sure that we have enough, and we have people leaving homeless, but at least we're hitting the end of winter with food. So we'll go with a couple more houses for this year, and that will get this side of this town. And then we do need a library and a tavern for over here. So we'll start with the library, and we'll throw that right here, and then we'll get the tavern adjacent, and this will get a little bit of happiness. Yeah, look at all those smiley faces. So we'll see if we can push this up a little bit higher. Looks like entertainment is the low point, so, and then luxury to go with it. And luxury will happen once we expand out furniture. I don't know if we need the extra worker. Maybe we do. Maybe, you know, extra worker's always good. Let's take the immigrants. Let's take that productivity. We'll throw it in there. It would be nice to be able to produce, you know, 7 pieces of furniture from 7 wood, and it looks like we're getting close. Over here, we might as well start prepping for the future. Oh, you know what? I already placed a road in there. I thought ahead for once. I don't normally do that, but in this case, past me was looking out for future me. Always a good thing. And past me actually revamped this area. It was this row of 2, and I redid it so that it's all the same size as the warehouse. Look at that stack of wood as they're clearing that up. We have nearly 3,000 wood. Absolutely insane. Speaking of that, with that, we should have enough wood in order to do furniture if we have the people, and it looks like we might have the people to expand that out. And we should also look at expanding out our coal production to go with it. This is a tough one because I'd like to expand both of them, and obviously we can't necessarily do both at once. So we'll do coal first, I guess. You know, heating our people over giving them luxury is probably a good thing in the long run. So we'll get a 4x6 storage there. We'll get a 4x6 storage there. Those will be replaced with warehouses, and then we'll get a charcoal burner, and hopefully this will leave enough room that we can build the houses here without having the negative debuff. So we'll go with 2 of them, and hopefully that will be enough. We are going into autumn, and we have a little bit of food. Not quite what I was looking for food, but a little little bit and maybe we do a couple more. We're running out of wild cards. Wow. Maybe we do a couple more of fruit gatherers. So let's pass. We'll pass on those. We'll take the wild card, another fruit gather. Absolutely. We'll take that sheep. This one, I probably should have done this in order to get the charcoal burner. And ultimately, I mean, out of the 3 hands of cards, I really could have got the majority of the cards I needed if I just went ahead and went through them. Another wild card. Absolutely. Another fruit gather. Absolutely. We'll grab this fruit gather right there. And I forgot to look to see how many fruit trees we had. That's a mistake. I probably should have. That got us our next tech medicine, which we will be taking, and then we want to start working towards the market. So let's get logistics 1. Not that haulers are going to be massively useful, and we'll take the medicine maker. That gets us 1,000 beers well, and we've got not enough money to upgrade our town hall. I don't want to take out the company act because we're going to be adding more trade companies. The beer tax is giving us a decent amount of money. Not a whole lot, but a decent amount. So we're going to hold out until we can upgrade. What we'll do in the meantime is we'll throw it into the card hand. That brings us the hauling post. Let's go ahead and get logistics 2 so that we can get our market. And we've got a ton of people who are cold, so we didn't get the coal up and going fast enough. Let's no thanks on that. Let's do the improved production and the conservation. Let's get the guild going instantaneously. We're up 240% on the charcoal burners. This area, so we've got plenty of medical, so I think we're good there. We are starting to accumulate wool and leather. Let's do an export for wool first, and we'll take it down to say 100, and then we'll do the next one would be leather, and we'll bring that down to 0. So that will be good. And what we're going to run into now is this is going to monopolize our trade, and we're not going to do any trade down here. So we now need to start looking at more trade companies. We'll take those immigrants. We'll take a passion book. Let's revamp this by taking out the productivity and replacing it with the passion. And then over in this area, I'd like to get the medicine maker up and going. So we should put a couple of storage yards here for our spacing. So we'll do a 4x6 there. We'll do another 4x6, brings us out to the right spacing. And we just hit 100 people and we had somebody die and we dropped down to 99, but it still gave us the productivity book. I like that. That's mechanics for you. And let's go ahead and do the next technology. We could now start with logistics 3 for the warehouse. That would be huge. We'll take that market and then we're going to place the medicine maker right there. With the market, we need 2 of them in total, but we're going to go ahead and throw our first one there. That will at least service this neighborhood. These guys are starting to look pretty good, I think, and furniture is still pretty low. So I think if we have enough people, we're going to go ahead and add some more furniture to the roster here. Taking a look at our job properties here, we do have everybody in our hunters, so we're in an area where we could do that. Let's get the sheep going here, and then for furniture, I think furniture we're gonna have to get down to the south. Since we have furniture kind of up to the north, that would kind of make sense. So we hide our trees, and we're probably looking at over here. So we'll put a road over to our grounds where we're gonna start building, and then let's get furniture from over here. And let's go with 2 of them in order to really make this area a huge production ground. So we'll place those like that, and then we'll need storage over here in the future, but I think for right now we're pretty good there. Well, you know what, maybe we just place 1 storage yard here, and what I'll do is configure that to just furniture. We probably will need more houses, and look at that, we're entering the autumn with a lot of food on hand, so we produced extra this year. I'm liking it. Let's place down a few more houses, and I don't know what I'm on right now, so let's try that again. So B&H for build houses. Let's get 2 more houses there, and then up here, since we're expanding this way, let's get 2 more houses over here. Will give us room for, I think these houses hold 5 occupants. I know the base one holds 4, and then when we upgrade again, they're going to hold 6, and ultimately they'll hold 8. So that's the route, and we probably could look at doing something with our coal burners. Let's add a little productivity to them. In this hunter lodge, it just clicked on that by mistake. Let's upgrade all of our fruit gatherers since we're looking at it, and we're out of tools. That's not good. And we're out of tools probably because our trader is trying to sell off everything else. So let's take a look and see if they're going to buy them, which they are. So that made us a ton of money really quick, but it just killed the tools. So we need to look at getting another trade company down ASAP. So trade, let's get another trade company. Let's do it right next to the other one. And that I'm so used to clicking auto build, which is a function that I think it got moved and maybe it got removed. So it's a feature that industrial age, maybe not, maybe it actually got removed where you could spend money to build things. And it was something that I actually grumbled about, and maybe that kind of set in that it was a bad feature. We'll take those immigrants, we'll take another passion book, and for the passion book, I think we throw it into the coal yard, and we do have a ton of money now. So once this one builds, I think we're gonna add a route for bricks in order to not have to worry about that. For now, I do want to bring in a few. So we'll pick up, let's do a total of 200. So we'll bring in those. We have people leaving homeless, so we didn't get the houses built quick enough. And with that, we probably should add a few more builders. Let's move it up to 4, and that should at least keep everything moving. This furniture is done. Let's go ahead and get the upgrades on there. Again, it needs the bricks in order to move it into the middle age, and we're gonna get bricks soon, but I want bricks for other things. So stone and brick is something we're gonna have to buy for a while until we get to the quarry, until we get the brickyard, in order to make sure that we're upgrading our houses to make the coal go a little bit further. This is like a huge rotating thing. You do a little of this, you do a little of that, it kind of goes full circle. We need iron, so we'll do a purchase order of that, and with that we got our second trade company. Absolutely amazing. They're buying the tools to get it added up, and let's do bricks and iron. So we're gonna do very low quantity, say 5, and then we'll bring up to 100. And for the iron, we're gonna do the same thing where we just buy iron, say to 200, and we're just gonna buy maybe 10 at a time. And it's gonna be a trickle, but it's gonna get all the things upgraded because we're gonna need iron for the medicine maker. We're gonna need iron for the tailor. When we build the tailor to get the industrial press, we're gonna need, I think it's 150. Speaking of that, we should get the tailor down so we can get our first level 5 house. Now, this area down here, I think is gonna be a pretty big industrial area, but it's far away from all of our coal production. So I'm not sure if I wanna do that. And then our beer production, I think is getting pretty good now that we're starting to get a lot of fruit. Maybe we do tailor up here because it's close to where all of the sheep are, and then we'll look at doing beer production maybe up this way when we start heading up this way. And speaking of that, let's pick up that province with influence, and it looks like we need 12 and 2500 to get those other ones. That's kind of the long-term goal, is to head that way. Speaking of goals, laborers are kind of good, but we are in the middle of winter. I always want to check that in spring to make sure that I'm not sending my laborers off in the middle of a season. We are going to switch this over to bark extract at some point in time. I think doing a mushroom brew could be good, but I think for now we're just going to stick with bark. Let's do the upgraded catalyst for 20%, and then the improved extraction. I think we're going to be getting the level 4 houses soon enough. We already have 15, so it's a 15% boost. So we take it, and then we'll look at doing some cards for in here to make it even better. So one of the things that I've talked about in the past is you're almost always better going with production over conservation. And that's something that I'm sticking with wholeheartedly. I think you're always better going with production over conservation. We do not have the ability to have more laborers yet, so we're gonna have to expand our population up a little. Maybe we upgrade our town hall, which gives us the ability to throw the master brewer in there, gives our breweries a little bit of a relief. And for technology, let's grab those immigrants, let's grab that passion book that we're gonna throw into the medicine maker. So we'll throw that there. Let's throw the spy network up into our hand, and then we do have some tech points here. We're not far from the candle maker. We're at 24 level 2 houses, so we're getting there. Baking in order to get bread could be good, and then winery, which we are ready for, and seeing as how we do have a grape zone, could be huge. The other thing that could be huge is getting housing adjacency, which we had enough to cover, and then maybe doing heating technology to get the coal down that way as well. Right now, we're kind of holding where we're not losing people to the cold, but I want to keep on that route. This area, I thought that was a level 4 house for or level 5 house for a second, but I forgot they have red roofs, and I'd like to see them up and going. Pigs, we're starting to see pork on the ground, which means we need more laborers. And this right here, missing output. So let's switch this over to wool since we have that. Now look at that weaving machine, 150, but it gives 40% production. So it moves that from 11 to probably 15. That's huge, seeing as how we're looking at 42 wool, only making 11 coats. That's not a whole lot for 7 workers in there. With that, we just got our technology for housing adjacency, brings us up to 800 gold. Yes, amazing. With this, let's get another heating. I forgot we did heating 1 in between there, but with as much technology as we've been banking, that is just a thing. This area is starting to look nice. It's nice not having to worry about food and being able to worry about other things. This area is full, but I don't know why they're not moving it. Oh, I know why they're not moving it. We don't have enough laborers now. So we do need to let some things expand. So we're going to have to place down a few more houses in order to get a few more people, in order to let things kind of do their thing. And we've got our first level 5 house. So we'll go find that in a second here and show off the nice roof. Just placed that in the wrong spot. Let's go ahead and move that to the right spot. So we'll get that boyo right there. And then this area, we do need a market at some point in time. And markets, there you can see the wagon zoom around and look at that. We've got our level 5 houses. We do need stone. That's becoming an issue. So we're going to go ahead and add that to the import order. And we're probably going to buy up to, I'd guess probably 200. We'll do a little bit of a bigger order on this. Let's bring in 25 per tick, and that should allow us to have what we need. Let's go ahead and up this to 200 bricks. That will give us a little bit better. Let's move this to 10. I think we're okay for that. And then since we're close to 100 people, I want to bring this up to 200 tools. That way we've got 2 years worth of tools just in case. Gets us another level in our heating technology. Let's get a third one. Cathedral would be huge, but we don't have glass, so we're probably going to wait for cathedral until we have glass, and then we'll look at cathedral. Cathedral is amazing for job happiness. 10% job happiness goes a long time, a long ways when we're looking at job happiness being 73%, and that would instantly raise it to 83%. That's huge. Beer is becoming an issue. We don't have a whole lot of it. Granted, we just entered the spring with no extra people. Granted, we do have room for 7 more, so we're going to get those soon, and we probably need 1 more tulip farm, seeing as how tulips are a little bit lackluster there. Let's do it. Let's get another tulip farm right here. So we probably need to configure that over to tulips. We'll take those immigrants. We'll take the productivity. I'm tempted to take the sustainability. I really am. And they're smiling. We'll try to keep them smiling. We probably need more beer production down this way. Speaking of that, we probably need more fruit production as well. But at least right now, at least we're maintaining. We've got 5 there. We've got 4 here. We could add another one here because I think this area is becoming pretty solid. Maybe we'll get rid of the forester eventually and do it. And I guess that's something that we could do is get rid of this forester because I don't think we're going to need it anymore. We'll bring that up here and we'll add it right there. What I'd like to see in the future is not necessarily the ability to move a building, but if we get rid of something, maybe it retains its property. So we only want prioritized planting fruit, but we want non-fruit trees this to be what it does. And we've got tons of wood. So this building, even though it's not going to be working, which is not going to be working for some time because we have a production limit, is actually a little bit of a bummer because we can't do planting of trees when we're at our cap. That's something that I probably should have thought about first. We'll pick up the next level of trade relations, try to get our trade under a little bit better situation. Our medicine is to the point where we're starting to maintain medicine. And now that we're starting to maintain medicine, we probably need a couple more medicine makers down on this side of town in order to make the transition of turning off our farms. We're producing almost 200 from that one. That's sick. Let's get another fruit gather over here. So this should be the last one. And I forgot to take a look and see what type of fruit we had. So we're looking at 228 right there. This area is in the 240 zone. And then we get over here is 130. So that's the main difference between having the forester and not. So we'll throw that boyo there. I'm thinking these odds odds and ends over here we can probably get by hand. So let's get rid of this forester so that can start filling in. And this little chunk of road there, let's go ahead and clear that off, and that area should be good. And then what we can do is add more foresters up here. Now we could, for the moment, go ahead and get rid of the production limit to let this farmer go, and that will hopefully let that area fill in. Maybe we just need to keep the farmer or the foresters up and going all the time. This area is so lush. It's so weird going from my last playthrough was in the desert to this playthrough is in the forest. And then the Emirates, their special ability actually takes away from the amount of wood they harvest. With this, I mean, we're puking out wood where the Emirates had a hard time keeping it in stock. And we are entering winter. We have 740 coal. We have a ton of medicine. We're in decent shape. Let's start switching some of these over to grapevines. And with this, we're going to start doing, I'm going to say wine. So let's get baking. That's going to finish momentarily. But this is a good spot to go ahead and call this episode. Thanks for joining, guys. It's been a little bit of work as this is the third attempt to record. So might be a couple days before I get the next one out. But thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you in the next one.